Hey, this is Keith again, and in this training, I'm going to take you through the different campaign phases when it comes to creating a successful Facebook ad campaign or YouTube ad campaign. So you want to really look at it in terms of phase 1, phase 2, and maybe even phase 3. So let's just look at the basic, how you can go from phase 1 to phase 2. Phase 1, let's say you're running Facebook ad campaigns, and initially you're going to either start out as an ad set budget optimization, and maybe that's what you prefer. Sometimes I like to do that because you have more control. If you're optimizing at the ad set level here and you're setting your budget at the ad set, then you put your budgets here. You decide, hey, I want to put $20 a day here, $30 a day here, $50 a day here, $50 a day here, you know, in each one of these. If you're using campaign budget optimization, then you just set the budget at the campaign level, and Facebook decides how they spread out your budget between these different ad sets. Now with Google, YouTube ads, you only have one choice. It's only campaign budget optimization. That's just how it works. So if you're here on Facebook and you'd say you want to do a conversion campaign, if I'm on campaign budget optimization is off, then they're going to have me set the budget at the ad set level. If it's on, then they're going to have me set it at the campaign level. And right now, we see both working. So if you have something brand new and you don't really know, you don't have a big budget to work with, and you want to really have control of those ad sets, then start with this off. Like that's how we started a campaign that we're running right now for our challenge. But we know we need to use the campaign budget, optimization to really be able to scale things out. So if you're somebody that you always use campaign budget optimization, then just start with that. That's fine. But your phase 1 and phase 2 is going to be the same no matter which one you use. That's the point. Okay. So now you just might take a little longer to get the data initially if you're at CBO, because they might be giving most of their impressions to 2 or 3 ad sets, and you have 7 that you want to get impressions. That might be why you would want to use ad set budget optimization or ABO initially before you move into phase 2 here. So phase 1 is typically we're going to have warm audiences. So your ad sets here are going to be all your custom audiences that you have. Website visitors, page engagers, maybe anybody that's watched 15 seconds of video views or more. Maybe you have short videos and you want to do 50% or 75%. It's really kind of up to you there. There's a lot of different ways to do that. But in general, what we want as big as possible audience with our warm audiences because they're already small as it is. And when you have a small audience, something that's less than 1 million, we consider small. So if it's less than 50,000, then it's really small. It's really difficult for the algorithm to be able to do its thing and optimize and spread out those impressions throughout that 24-hour period every single day. So I would rather use a 10-second or 15-second or even 3-second in some cases and get a bigger audience, even if they're less, even if they're less engaged, but we have more people to work with. You'll see your performance will be better. That's why I have the lower number there on video views. Page engagers, customers, subscribers, of course, excluding customers of the product that you're trying to promote, right? Messengers, people that have messaged you maybe, and whatever other app downloads, all the different ways that Facebook gathers data. So you want to put all those in one ad set. Maybe you have 2 groups, but depending on your situation, you might have 2 different ones. But then you have your connection targeting. That has to be a separate audience, because if it's not, what happens? We have overlays on Facebook, right? So if we go into this campaign here and we want to target a warm audience, let's say we want to target people who have watched 15 seconds of this 23-minute video, and we've got about, I think, 270,000 with that video worldwide, 15-second viewers. Yeah, that's what it is. But we already clicked on it. So 4,000 in the US only, but it gets broader as we go out. But basically what I do is let's just go worldwide, okay. So now we're at 270,000. But if I want to target my fans, people who like dominate web media, the problem is it overlays. So now that audience goes from 270,000 down to fewer than 1,000. because they have to have watched that video and be a fan. And sometimes it's bigger than that, sometimes it's not. But the point is what we can instead do is I can say, hey, this is our fans audience, and any page that I own that we run ads on, Dominate Web Media, Keith Krance as well. Now we can put all those together because it's not going to overlap. So that's how that works. So put those together in one ad set. Now then we have our lookalike ad sets. Lookalike ad sets are the top lookalikes are going to be your customers' lifetime value, or just all your customers. But if you have purchase data, when you export those customers, then Facebook will match that up and they'll say, hey, let's target the best people that have spent the most, which is awesome. We find that our best audience is our lookalikes. Our cold audience is based off our highest lifetime value customers. Maybe if you have a good amount of fans, then that might be a good one. Video views, maybe 25% video views. Now you're getting more engaged. And so maybe a lookalike based off 25% video views. Now we have longer videos. Typically my videos are mostly like 2 to 6, 7 minutes. So if we used 50% or 75%, we might not have enough data to be a good audience, but we don't know. We need to find out. It might be, but I'm just using this initially as the first one to start with. But you might have all like 30-second videos or 1-minute videos, or a client of yours. Then you're going to probably say, hey, let's take the 75% or 95% of video view lookalikes as one of our first audiences. You have website visitors. You can go a lot of these, right? You have customer lifetime value, 5%, 10%. Maybe you have a entry purchase product and an upsell product. You can start to combine these. 1% entry purchase product, 1% upsell purchase product, and then all subscribers all into one audience. So it's a little bit bigger, but it's all 1%. And then sometimes we'll do different types of custom audience or lookalikes lumped together. Or you might say, hey, let's do customers 1 to 3%. Another one 3 to 5%. Another one 5 to 10%. Initially, if you're spending a couple $100 a day or something like that, I would say pick 4, 5, or 6 of these, and that's it. To get too many, you're not going to get many impressions. It's going to be challenging to get some data. So it kind of depends on how many conversions you can get. Are you optimizing on leads, or are you optimizing on a low price product? You can have more audiences to test right away because you're getting more conversions and they're going to get data. But if you're optimizing on a $100 product and you're only spending, say, $100 a day, then there's no point in having 20 different audiences. You're not going to be able to learn anything. So you're gonna have to find a earlier point in the funnel to optimize on. Maybe it's add to cart instead if you want to start testing more audiences. So, and then you have interests. Interest group 1, 2, 3, 4. So maybe you have like several interest groups, or maybe you have some of them that are pretty large, like in this case. Amy Porterfield's a large audience, right? Russell Brunson's large. Like they're in the several millions. Infusionsoft. So if you look at Russell Brunson here, 10 million. So that's fine on its own. But knowing that we're optimizing on a $49 purchase, we need to have a lot of these eventually lumped together. So it's okay starting out, learning. It's a new campaign, and we're going to have those. Maybe we have a group of Frank Kern, Ryan Dice, Perry Marshall. They're all grouped into one audience. Like as you'll see here, like Frank Kern, there's a few of those put into one audience. Then we might have one interest, like I said, a Russell Brunson on its own, and that's a group. Then we have another group of email autoresponder software, or maybe enterprise level software. And then we have social media gurus, Amy Porterfield, Michael Stelzner from Social Media Examiner, and some of those folks put together into one group. That's what we recommend doing. Same thing on Google, on YouTube. When you're creating your ad groups, try to think of those ad groups as buckets of similar types of things, whatever that is. Maybe it's products that people use in your marketplace. Maybe it's magazines, and then the top 4 or 5. So you're lumping those together. So you're able to learn how they do, but you're also able to leverage the algorithm a little bit and combining them and getting it a little bit bigger. So that's really phase 1. You might have 3 to 6 ads per ad set. Remember, Facebook is going to optimize. If you have 6 ads out of the gate in each ad set, you're not going to get all your impressions into all those ads probably, unless you're at a really high budget and you've been going for quite a while. Over time, you'll start to get impressions, but typically we say 3 to 4. But in the beginning, that's okay. If you've got these, especially if you're in the ad set budget optimization and you're setting the budget at each one, so you have some more control. You're going to get that budget spread out across all your ad sets that you have in there. So you might have 4 or 5 or 6 ads, and that's not the end of the world. But when you start getting more than that, you're going to have to just really duplicate that ad set and then add the new creatives into it. Okay. So maybe now, after you start to get data, so maybe 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you want to start looking at, and after 1 week would be great, or even right away, starting to build this out initially with like looking at the data and learning. But you really do need a minimum of a week to 2 weeks of data to be able to learn, some of this stuff. But then again, if you're spending $500 a day on every ad set, you're spending say $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a day here. Guess what? You're still going to need probably 3 or 4 days minimum. But you are going to need less time before you start to move into the next phases because you're getting more data faster, period. So phase 2 would be, hey, it's time for another a cold campaign 1. I called it here, campaign budget optimization. Now we might have our same thing, warm ad sets structured the same, basically. We're going to take our top audiences. So we're going to look at our data and we're going to take our top audiences, the ones that are performing best, the ones that have the best CPAs, the best result rates, and just the best performance overall. And let's start lumping some of those together into a bigger, broader audience. And then let's take our top 3 or 4 performing ad creatives across all of our campaigns over here, and let's put those in each one of these. So let's say this ad set here has 4 of my best ads, and then each ad set is duplicated and it has the same 4 ads. So each ad set has the same 4 ads in it. Same thing over here. Let's say you have 5 ads in each ad set. Each ad set has the same 5 ads in it. Like I said, unless you have like 10 creatives that you're testing, then you might duplicate each ad set. So one has 5 and the other one has the other 5. Does that make sense? Okay. Once you're over here, though, we don't want a ton of ads. We only want your best ads, because when you have your best ads only, they reward you big time. And these are you're going to want to look at result rate. Get something, if it's near 0.1%, that's good. Okay. Result rate is basically taking a combination of things, of engagement, of how many people are they clicking on it right away? Are they opting in? It's sort of like Google quality score. Okay. And so is going to be pretty good usually. So that's a little bonus metric there. And then you're looking at your result rates. You're looking at CPAs. You're looking at cost per impressions in general across the board. But CPA is like really the most important one. But you do have to look at some of these other engagement costs too. So you're going to take your best performers, and then you might put in, hey, let's do the 1% of customers, 25% video view lookalikes, website visitors, all subscribers. And you might have another one where you do the same thing with that 5% or 10%. Maybe you found over here that your 10% lookalike was doing really well on its own down here, this one. So you have one of your audience over here is customers, 25%, all these at 10%. So you have a really big audience and you're using CBO campaign. Or maybe you have something based on the where the step in the funnel, right? Entry, purchase, upsell, maybe add to cart, or maybe 25% video views and all subscribers. So, and then over here in interests, maybe you take your best, just top interest groups, your best 2 or 3 interest groups. And if you want to have a few more, that's okay. But ideally in this scalable campaign, you don't have a lot of different ad sets, because remember, Facebook's going to want to give most of your impressions to the best one anyways. So try to take your best ones, put them in there. And now here we go, baby. And then guess what? You can do it again. You can open up another campaign and you can say, hey, let's try doing some manual bidding and those types of things, and taking even the best of the best. And that's a more advanced optimization. Okay. But for this video, that's really how to look at things from phase 1 to phase 2 and beyond. Hopefully that was helpful. Get in there, create some campaigns, and let's do this. All right, talk to you on the next video.